In 2016, cybercriminals orchestrated an audacious theft, stealing $81 million from Bangladesh Bank during a seemingly normal weekend. On Saturday, employees at the Central Bank of Bangladesh made a chilling discovery. The printer responsible for handling international transfer receipts had printed a document confirming a shocking transaction. $1 billion had been drained from their accounts. In disbelief, the staff realized they were victims of one of the largest digital heists in history, their security compromised by a notorious hacking organization. This mysterious group, backed by a powerful entity, will be revealed later in this story. Bangladesh, a Muslim-majority country, observes weekends on Fridays and Saturdays, during which only essential employees, like those managing international transfers, remain on duty. The bank uses the SWIFT system, a global network that facilitates communication between banks for secure transfers. Though the SWIFT system itself wasn't compromised, the breach came through the bank's internal systems. On Thursday, after closing for the weekend, everything seemed normal, but on Friday morning, an employee checking the transfer receipts found that the printer wasn't working and no transactions had been printed overnight, even though digital records showed nothing unusual. After unsuccessfully troubleshooting, they left the problem unresolved, expecting to address it after the weekend. The following day, Saturday, the printer suddenly sprang back to life, printing out receipts for transactions that had not been recorded in the digital log. Among them were 35 unauthorized transactions totaling nearly $1 billion, all directed to accounts in the Philippines. Alarmed, the bank staff discovered that 4 transactions, amounting to $81 million, had already been processed, while the remaining 31 were pending. Attempts to stop the transfers by contacting the Federal Reserve Bank of New York were futile. It was Saturday in the U.S., and no one was available to respond until Monday. The Bangladesh Bank reached out to SWIFT, who advised shutting down the system. However, the bank's director dismissed the urgency of the situation, believing it to be a minor technical issue. Unfortunately, even with immediate action, the $81 million had already slipped through their grasp. The clever timing of the attack, coinciding with weekends in Bangladesh, the U.S., and the Philippines, gave the thieves a critical window to execute their operation with minimal interference. In 2016, the timing of the holiday weekend, spanning from Friday to Monday, provided the hackers with an opportunity to operate with increased freedom. This long weekend was a holiday period in Bangladesh, the USA, and the Philippines, which led to a 4-day disruption in communication between the banks. The hackers took advantage of this by remotely accessing the bank's computer system at 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, when the bank's employees had left for the day. They executed 35 transfer requests through the SWIFT system to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, totaling approximately $951 million. By the time these requests reached New York at 10:30 a.m., everything seemed normal, and the staff there processed the requests as they typically would. The Federal Reserve Bank relies entirely on the SWIFT system for processing transfers. If a request is valid and correctly filled out, it is processed regardless of the amount. The expectation was that all 35 transfers directed to a Philippine bank would be approved. However, only 4 transfers, totaling $81 million, were completed. The remaining 31 transfers were flagged and placed under review. The reason for this discrepancy was an extraordinary coincidence. The accounts in the Philippines where the funds were directed were registered under names associated with China. These accounts had been opened 10 months earlier but remained inactive until the heist. Interestingly, one of the branches involved was located on a street named Jupiter, a name also used by a sanctioned maritime company dealing with Iran. This triggered a review at the Federal Reserve, halting the 31 transfers totaling $78 million. In addition, the hackers made another critical error. After processing the 4 transfers, they waited for 7.5 hours before exiting the SWIFT system at 6 p.m. New York time, mistakenly assuming that no further transactions would be processed. If they had waited just 1 more hour, they might have accessed the entire $1 billion. By the time the Federal Reserve requested confirmation of the transfers, the hackers had already left the system. The Federal Reserve then sought additional verification from the Central Bank of Bangladesh, which the hackers could have confirmed if they were still active. Instead, the hackers had exited and deleted all records of the transactions. Furthermore, the hackers had disabled the printer that automatically recorded transactions, ensuring no immediate digital or physical record of the unauthorized transfers. When bank employees arrived, they found only routine transactions and initially suspected a printer malfunction. It wasn't until Saturday that they discovered the full extent of the heist when the printer resumed operation. During the holiday period, the Central Bank of Bangladesh attempted to contact both the Federal Reserve and RCBC Bank in the Philippines. Due to the holidays, responses were delayed. By the time communication was re-established, the $81 million had been withdrawn. The branch manager at RCBC had already converted $22 million into cash and arranged for it to be removed, while the remaining $59 million was withdrawn the following Tuesday. The hackers' scheme was not without complications. The money could be traced due to serial numbers and needed laundering. They utilized unregulated casinos in the Philippines, known for their minimal financial oversight, to launder the money. The thieves distributed the cash among a group of individuals who exchanged it for casino chips and then cashed out, making it difficult to trace the origin of the money. The laundering involved a simple but effective strategy. The individuals played among themselves in the casinos, ensuring that the money remained within their group and only a small commission was paid to the casino. This method allowed them to effectively clean the stolen funds while the Central Bank of Bangladesh continued its frantic efforts to recover the stolen money. The remaining $59 million, which was similarly facilitated by the branch manager, was gathered with even greater ease at the start of the work week compared to the end of the previous week. It is puzzling why the Central Bank of Bangladesh did not send representatives to the Philippines to directly request that the senior manager freeze the accounts immediately upon the bank's opening on Tuesday. Such action could have prevented the thieves from having a full 5 hours to withdraw the remaining funds. It's possible that in those initial days, the severity of the situation wasn't fully understood, and it may have been seen as a simple mistake that could be corrected. This lax response proved costly. Ultimately, the $81 million was lost, and the news quickly spread worldwide, earning the heist the title of the biggest digital theft in history. Investigations into the case, involving security agencies from Bangladesh, the USA, and the Philippines, revealed that the hackers were highly skilled at covering their tracks. Despite their efforts, some traces remained, which experts were able to uncover. Security and tech experts found strong similarities between the malware used in this heist and the malware used in the 2014 Sony hack, the largest breach in Sony's history. The group responsible for that attack was identified as Lazarus. The Lazarus group had previously targeted Sony in response to the film The Interview, which depicted North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in a satirical light. The film led to threats from North Korea, resulting in the film being pulled from many theaters and a massive hack that crippled Sony's networks and leaked sensitive information. Lazarus is believed to be directly connected to North Korea, though their exact nature remains unclear, whether they are regular employees or a mercenary team hired by the regime. What is clear is that Lazarus is supported and managed by North Korea. Specific code matches between the Bangladesh Bank malware and the Sony breach suggest that the same group was behind both attacks. The scale and complexity of the heist, combined with the involvement of Chinese nationals in the laundering operation, point to a large and sophisticated organization. The Lazarus group is considered one of the most dangerous hacker groups globally, largely due to their North Korean backing. Their notoriety further increased with the 2017 ransomware attack known as WannaCry, which encrypted files on infected computers and demanded ransom payments. Despite its flaws and the fact that only a third of the affected computers recovered their files, the attack caused widespread disruption and damage, impacting critical services and institutions across 150 countries. The financial damages were estimated to be in the billions, solidifying Lazarus's reputation as a major threat. In the aftermath of the bank heist, there were significant resignations, including the governor of the Central Bank of Bangladesh and several high-ranking officials. The only person apprehended and convicted was the branch manager, Maya Dido, who had assisted the thieves. She was sentenced to 59 years in prison and fined $19 million, more than the amount stolen. Her severe sentence has led to questions about her motivations and whether she was coerced or bribed. Despite the harsh penalty, she remains the only individual prosecuted, while the hackers and the stolen money remain elusive. The heist stands as the largest digital theft in history, and as the digital age continues to evolve, it is likely that future conflicts could escalate into large-scale digital warfare. Thanks for watching this story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content.